You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com. And now, it's time for the show that breaks down the options market from unusual activity alerts to market analysis, strategy overviews, listener questions, and much more. If it involves puts and calls, then our all-star panel will break it down. It's time to hit the Option Block with your host, Mark Longo from the Options Insider Media Group, and co-hosts Uncle Mike Tosaw from St. Charles Wealth Management, along with Mark the Greasy Meatball Sebastian and Andrew the Rock Lobster Giovinazzi from OptionPit.com. If you trade options, you want to be smart about every decision. So why not choose the smartest platform for your trades? At Public.com, you can view upcoming earnings dates directly in the options chain. You can queue and execute multiple orders simultaneously. Easily view contract performance over time. And if you have a question about any stock, you can ask Alpha, their AI for investors. But want to know the smartest part of trading options on Public? Earning rebates on every single contract traded. No other platform provides options trading rebates, and they reduce your trading costs to less than $0 per trade. So, make the smart move and switch to Public.com, the only options trading platform where you can earn rebates on every single contract traded. Paid for by Public Investing. Options not suitable for all investors and carry significant risk. Full disclosures in podcast description. And now, get ready to hit the Option Block.
All right, everybody, that music means we are back once again. Time to kick off your broadcast week here in high style on the old Options Insider Radio Network. Time for the show known around the globe as the Option Block. My name, of course, Mark Longo from theoptionsinsider.com, as well as from the network upon which all of you folks, all you cool folks, we're binging last week. Hope you had a good trading week. Hope you're looking forward to a fun, hopefully insanity-free bit of fun, truncated holiday week action. Of course, if you like what you hear, this show, anything else on the network, throw a like, a star, a comment. All that stuff does help new people continue to discover the content, and they are indeed legion. So help them out. A like, a star, a comment does go a long way out there. All right, I am joined on the pro. Oh, by the way, before we get there, if you want to join us for some fun action like Options Oddities, Pro Q&As, you want to get early access to a bunch of cool stuff going on out there ahead of time, like you wanted all the OIC stuff ahead of time. You wanted, let's say, all my interviews I did recently all there ahead of time. You want early access. You don't want to wait a week for the second episode of OBC. You want it in your hot little ear holes right now. And of course, maybe you want to get your name in the hat for the Pro Trading Crate. Hint, hint. Might be coming up a little bit later today. Only one place to go. theoptionsinsider.com/pro is the place to go to learn more and play along with all that fun. Speaking of fun, it's time to kick off our broadcast week on this kind of truncated holiday week here in high fun style. It is time for our, what is traditionally an 80s trivia game. Going to move away from that format a little bit here on the episode today. Going to go a little bit broader, a little bit deeper. And we'll see if our two gladiators can keep up. We are joined today on the Monday show by the Uncleist of Mikes, Mr. Uncle Mike Tosaw from St. Charles Wealth Management, as well as by the rockingest of lobsters, Mr. Andrew Giovinazzi from OptionPit.com, looking very smart in his required Maine uniform of flannel today, listeners. So those two need to get their hands on their buzzers because we're doing something a little bit different today. All right, we're going out to instead of just 80s trivia, we're going a little bit of the old 4th of July trivia. All right, so set your dials back to a little bit broader, a little bit crazier. All right, listeners, 4th of July, it is this week, a fun holiday for the masses out there. Fun trading holiday because we get a day off. Those are very rare, in the market. So enjoy them when they come, listeners. I am, of course, if I sound a little different, I am doing exactly what I said. I am enjoying the 4th of July holiday because I am beaming to you not from the southern studio, but from the western studio this week, which is kind of fun. I will be out here throughout the week. And this week for our trivia, July 4th. You know it, fireworks, hot dogs, barbecues, all that fun. Also, strangely enough, the day on which 3 U.S. presidents died on July 4th. Today's trivia question, I'll be a nice guy. You don't have to name all 3. If you can just name one president, we got a buzz already, one president who died on July 4th. Let's go out to the hinterlands of Chicago. We are joined by the Uncleist of Mike, Mr. Uncle Mike Tosaw. A, welcome to the program, and B, can you name that tune? Name a president who died on July 4th, sir.
I'm going to, because you'll probably give out a half point to Andrew. I'll be nice and say Thomas Jefferson, because I know he was one of them.
Yes, well done. Well done.
The Rock Lobster the opportunity to get the other 2 for half points, because that's typically how you roll.
No, I wasn't going to do that, but since you made it an opportunity, I will do that. I will be kind in the spirit of 4th of July, which is, of course, the spirit of giving.
Do it. I want the opportunity.
Spirit of giving and the spirit of fireworks. 1 point for Uncle Mike. He extends his commanding lead. Well done. I will say there are 2. You named one of them, Jefferson. There are 2, I would say, well-known presidents who died on 4th of July, and then the third one who's, I'd say, a lower tier president who died on the 4th of July. Mr. Rock Lobster, the circle gets the square for Uncle Mike. Can you maybe steal or try to block for a half point? Can you also name a president?
Generous. I had a brain block. I know that Jefferson and Adams died on the same day, 4th of July.
All right, so there you go.
That famous quote.
Yes. Does Jefferson still live? Yes.
Yes.
All right, so there you go. Half point
for about the Republic. And oh my gosh, the third one, 4th of July. I would just guess like Teddy Roosevelt, but
no, actually,
third one.
There you go. James Monroe. He was the third one. So I'll give you the half point for Sam Adams because that is a good one. That is a famous quote. You're right. The "Does Jefferson live" kind of thing. They played it up to great effect in the Sam Adams book, and indeed the Sam Adams miniseries. If you've missed either of those, listeners, I highly encourage them. Great 4th of July reading and or viewing as we keep on rolling right on into the trading block.
It's time to break down the latest topics, trades, and trends in the world of options. It's time for the Trading Block.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Trading Block, the portion of the show where we do just that. We see what the heck is trading. How are markets kicking off on this truncated holiday week? And the answer is they're kind of doing their thing, which is not a heck of a lot of anything, listeners. We've got the S&P up about 0.2%, not bad, about 0.18. The Dow up the exact same percentage, 0.18 out there, so a little bit of action on those 2 fronts. We've got NASDAQ actually taking a little bit of the bit in their teeth, going up about 0.6%. And because it's a day that ends in Y, small caps have to literally do their own thing. And today they are off 0.8%. So just deciding to buck the trend as usual. All that a long way around to saying VIX cash was getting a little bit of the weekend back. Now it's kind of given most of that up as well. We're pretty much unched on VIX cash as well. We were right around 12.5 when we kicked off the show. Maybe we're at about 12.45, down slightly, but it's pretty much unched from where we were on the Thursday show. So not a heck of a lot going on there on the start of the show. Again, a quiet holiday week. Let's kick things off now with our victor for the week, Mr. Uncle Mike. Mr. Uncle Mike, I will give you a double prize this week. Not only do you get the full point, but you will now get, before you get to do your breakdown for the week, you get the double prestigious honor of picking our Pro Trading Crate winner for the month of June. Are you ready for this massive honor, sir?
Yes.
All right. I have managed to fire up the random number generator while here in the Western studio. No mean feat, listeners, but it is firing off right now as we speak. Uncle Mike, upon whom will you bestow the largesse of the Pro Trading Crate for the month of June, sir?
Not yet, not yet, not yet. Now!
Oh, bam. There we go. Bam. Reflexes like a cat. Listeners, all right. There we go. Who did you pick? Ooh, this name sounds familiar. I do believe, if I am correct, this is one of our earliest, if not perhaps one of our first ever members. This person, if I'm correct, I think they might have signed up even during, back when we had that live massive event where we kicked off to Pro. I do believe this person might go back that far. This is Glenn Wolf, so congratulations. I do believe your first Pro Trading Crate, so look at that. Long time. They're going to love you, Mr. Uncle Mike. They may send you a Christmas card. They like you so much. So there you go. Glenn, congratulations to you. See, you stay the course. You stay in the Pro. Your time will come. You, too, will win a Pro Trading Crate. See, I loved all the new timers winning. We had Mango Lover 75 winning last month. But I love to see the long timers get rewarded out there as well. Stay the course. Keep your name in the hat. You, too, can win fabulous prizes, just like Glenn Wolf. So, Glenn, our producers will reach out to you. Congratulations. A Pro Trading Crate will be heading your way post-haste. All right, Uncle Mike, we got kind of a quiet start to the trading week. Feel free to extol at length upon anything that catches your eye, sir.
Well, you brought up the how Adams and Jefferson died on the same day, 4th of July. If I'm not mistaken, it was on 1826. I think it was the 50th anniversary of the first 4th of July, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I believe it was. But it reminds me of my favorite bit of odd presidential trivia that I find very fascinating. John Tyler was the 10th president of the United States of America, and he served from 1841 to 1845. John Tyler actually had a son when he was 63 years old in his second marriage. That son had a kid when he was 70 years old in his second marriage, and that son is still alive today. So John Tyler, the 10th president of the United States, who served from 1841 to 1845, as of March of 2024, I always just look it up every few months to see when this guy's going to die, but Harrison Ruffin Tyler, his grandfather, he's still alive today. His grandfather served as president in the 1840s. If that's not fascinating, then I don't know what is.
Look at you having the Tyler family death watch going every few months. That is a fascinating nugget, though. Everyone always has a weird bit of presidential trivia that they zero in on. Clearly, that is yours, Uncle Mike. So well done. I tip my cap to you.
It really makes me, I can't get over that. It's the fact that there's just somebody on this earth who can say, yeah, my grandpa was around 20 years before the Civil War. Someone on earth can say that. And the fact that I was looking at, because my grandfather was born in 1918. This guy's grandfather was born in 1790. So in 3 generations, they've really spread it out quite a bit.
Couple hundred years, that's some good spreading, sir. Anything else catching your eye in the world of spreading maybe options today, or anything else in this kind of gentle start to the trading week, sir?
Well, the fact that I'm talking about John Tyler's grandchildren should give you a little bit of an inkling. But a couple of things that I am seeing right now, we do have Apple up 3% on the day, making another run at 220. You never know. Microsoft's up almost 2% on the day in the mid 450s again. So we do have some movement in the technology space. We also have some movement in JP Morgan Chase back up above 206. So there are a couple of movers out there in terms of the market as a whole. Looking at the S&P, not a ton of movement. Excuse me. It is positive on the day, but not a ton of movement. There is a sell-off happening in the treasuries. So we are getting some downward movement. The 10-year note is down roughly 1% on the day today. A little bit of buyers going on in silver. But I would say that the main news today, or the main movers and shakers with which I am seeing today, at least on my screen, would be some of the technology names. Get a nice little boost on the day. Along with the bonds getting a nice little sell-off on the day. And then from there, you just really see that this market as a whole, you're getting a lot of movement from a little bit of things, if that makes any sense at all. That's what I'm seeing today, and crazier things have happened, but it is a 4th of July holiday week, and I'm not expecting a ton of movement the next couple days, but you never know. Maybe Harrison Tyler might want to go in there and do some type of insider trading with his buddies in Congress.
Yes, he gets a pass. He is literally grandfathered in. So you're a little bit of presidential. See what I did there? Uncle Mike, I did think of you last week. I was kind of wishing you were on our TWIFO show last week because I saw some paper last week in the metals, in particular silver and I believe copper. That definitely caught my eye, and I thought Uncle Mike would like to be made aware of this. I'll have to go pull up the exact strikes, but as I recall, sir, from my deep, deep steel trap memory, at the time, silver was trading around 29 1/3, and we saw somebody putting on I couldn't tell if it was related paper or not, if it was literally a strangle, but it went up the same day. So it was about 1 month out, so I think it was August, so you're talking the August time frame. With silver around 29 1/3, we saw size paper trading on the 75 calls in August. Again, if past is prologue, they're probably buying, though. I think I have the prices. I think they went up for like 3 cents or maybe a penny because, again, 75 strike, it's pretty far out there. And then they also, against that or on the same day, someone else did another ridiculous trade. We saw the 12 half puts also trading, also in August. So you could very easily have a 75 12 half strangle in silver going up in August, sir. What do you think of those strikes?
I wouldn't even look, but I would assume you could get something for better than 3 cents or for similar to 3 cents in the 50s or 60s in silver for August. I wouldn't know. I haven't looked that far out that high, but someone's expecting a whole lot of something, that's for sure. Maybe the Hunt brothers are back. They're going to try and corner the silver market again like they did 44 years ago or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's the best part about all this quote-unquote meme paper. We know this is kind of meme-y, but it's in the metals, is that they just ignore strikes below the strike that they're buying, that they could buy for the equivalent amount of money. And they just leap to these absurd strikes, and it's almost like they're either willfully ignorant or maybe quite literally ignorant in the fact they don't know how options work, one way or the other. But there is this weird, perhaps there's a method to this madness. I've yet to deduce it. But we've seen it with,
I'm just looking at SLV right now. You can get the 39 strike. You can get it for August for 2 cents by 3 cents.
Yeah, I would do that all day long before I bought the 75. But that's where we are. So yeah, we saw this with NVIDIA, those weird, 1,700 calls going up with a couple of days to go. You could have bought hundreds of strikes lower for the exact same amount. Regardless of the strike being absurd, just the fact that there are strikes below what you're buying, listeners, that are offered for the equivalent amount of money, and you're not choosing those instead, that is insanity. There is never, to me, a rational reason to do that. So just all sorts of fun. So apparently, Uncle Mike, in case you're wondering, the meme kids have now moved on to the metals. So beware. In your metals trading, you might get run over on a 75 12 half strangle if you are not prepared, sir. That's why I want to arm you with this information ahead of time. I'm trying to save you from the danger.
I am ready. Thank you, sir.
You are forewarned is forearmed, sir, as we go on out now to the land of the shores of Maine. Our listeners love their Shores of Maine updates, apparently. So by all means, give us a Shore of Maine update, Mr. Rock Lobster. How are things out there? I saw you rocking some flannel, so I'm guessing it's not exactly toasty warm out there. And then what is catching your eye on this rather lazy start to the holiday week, sir?
The updates on the shores remain breezy and quite nice. I had to put a flannel on because my students at Option Pit didn't recognize me in a blue button-down Oxford
so
shirt.
You're saying it was a costume that you put on. It is now your uniform, sir.
Correct. I had to switch from an LL Bean flannel shirt to an LL Bean Oxford blue shirt. It can only handle so much.
I have joked before that is your main uniform, but now apparently that is the case, sir.
It is. I've just given up now, and that is, I just go out I'm like Mr. Rogers. I go to my closet and put one of my flannel shirts on every day, and just make it easy on the folks. I'm going to give props to Tosaw being kind of a trivia master. I thought I was pretty good at the trivia game, but I have my work cut out for me. And I want no more charity. No more charity.
Really?
So if he's going to give me a whooping, I'm going to take my whooping like a man. But there will be no more charity dispensed.
Okay, careful what you wish for, sir. Because
listen, it's I know, but I got if it will make the comeback all the more sweeter when it happens.
See, I feel like I'm falling into both of your hands. Just within the next week or so, we're going to get into woodworking trivia or something like that, and I'm dead.
If you want the ultimate anti-charity,
sure this guarantees a stream of 80s wrestling.
I was just going to say, here comes the endless 80s wrestling for the rest of the year.
But then we go from 80s wrestling, and then he goes deep into presidential trivia. Like, whoa.
He's
presidential family trees. That's my specialty. And
oh my gosh,
86 Patriots or whatever, or the 85 Patriots.
Uncle Mike is taking you to the woodshed,
very
sir.
Very impressive.
You got to fight back at some point.
So from a market point of view, I thought like Friday when we had that kind of like crisp rally, the debate happened. There wasn't a lot. And then all of a sudden, the market started to sell. Like we hit all-time highs intraday again on Friday, and then we sold off. And I think what happened was, and I'm not sure, but all of a sudden, I feel like the media sort of turned on Biden and said, "Oh, we can't believe," like the narrative sort of changed overnight. I could be wrong, but I was trying to figure out what exactly kind of killed that hard rally we had. But I could be wrong on all that. But yeah, since there seems to be a little tone change in the media on all this about, the shock of the current president's condition and what that will bring to presidential politics. So we'll see. It's always interesting how it ends up just going down to whatever the law written in the book is. So we'll see how that all goes down. But as far as like today goes, we opened down kind of weak. VIX was up, looking for a little bit more of a sell-off. We had a regular weekend effect. And now all of a sudden we've got the dumbest holiday ever, right? We got a half-day Wednesday. We have Thursday, then Thursday holiday, and then Friday we have a full trading day between the weekend. Like these guys running the exchanges sometimes, I swear. Put the half day on Friday for everybody, because Option Pit's closed on Friday. We're taking kind of a little 2.5 day vacation. So, but anyway, and you're not running a show on Friday as well, right?
No, you get a full weekend off to yourself, sir. Enjoy the fun.
Yes, I don't know what I'll do. I'm gonna finish patching up my boats. But anyway, from a market point of view, we did touch like that. VIX did look like it wanted to break 12 on Friday. Right now, SPX straddle, I just looked at it with my students, are at $130. And I think you're kind of sitting here waiting for some big tech earnings. This is a pretty slow couple weeks in the market. So we have a non-farm payroll number on Friday, and I think that will kind of be it from a vol point of view here for a week or so. So we could see some lower volatility. I believe we are at all-time lows in all of the long vol products, if I'm not mistaken. And we are at an all-time high in SVIX. So I guess I could just, rip off Mike's thing and say, never in the history of SVIX has it been as high as it is today. So
You have my blessing.
so that was the low on that product was $9.32, and it is now $48. That is downright NVIDIA-like. I think it's the only one of the few financial products that has performed as well as NVIDIA has. That has some decent mark, but obviously not as big as NVIDIA. But so yeah, so you're getting kind of a vol smoking this weekend from the weekend, and whatever premium was in the futures is starting to, or extra premium is evaporating today. So the market is setting up for what I would say would be a very Uncle Mike type of week. Kind of a little rally here, there, some stocks up, some stocks down. And I think one story here is Tesla now is talking robotics, and their robotics business could be bigger than their car business. So I know, the thing with Teslas, who knows all the things they have under the hood there, but I bought a little more Tesla last week, so I'm been accumulating it here while it's kind of been having this doldrums this year. Because I think those robots and AI is going to be something. So it will be by the time we pass along 40 years from now, or however long it's going to be, it will be quite odd to see what the century that we lived looks like. From the time that we started till end, when technology was kind of like started to be a thing, with the space race. And then the end of that generation will be, who knows, robots doing everything. Who knows? It's kind of kooky, but I think that is probably part of the potential with NVIDIA, all of these AI data centers, all of these things that could be just, all the brains for the robot are not going to be stuck in the robot's head. They're going to be in a data center. And then, Wi-Fi just makes the robot do smart things. So who knows where it all will go? All I know is I'm tossing a little more money there. I missed the NVIDIA rally except for participating in the SMH. So I never saw it get into the size that it did. That's for sure. But apparently there is some potential in some other stocks. So we'll see which ones actually catch fire. But that's, and I think the market is still feasting relatively heartily on AI, anything AI connected. And, and who knows, maybe Apple somehow gets its third iteration, right? So they got, they started with the Mac, and then they went to sort of the, they sort of were reborn when they took over the music industry with iTunes and stuff. And then their third iteration was the phone, iPad, that whole complex, sort of that personal technology device. Maybe the fourth will be some sort of, I don't know, central AI thing, maybe improving healthcare. Who knows? Steve Jobs isn't here, but maybe some smart guy in Apple will figure something out. But it's definitely like, it feels like Apple is moving higher on more than just financial engineering over the last couple of weeks. So we'll see how high it can go.
Interesting. I will say this, for a guy wearing flannel who loves his woodworking on the shores of Maine, you are bullish them robots. You like yourself a little bit of AI.
I think, yeah.
He loves woodworking, flannel, battling the clam pirates, and all things robots and AI, listener. So there we go. The Jetsons' future coming to us courtesy of the rock lobster out. So let's see what's going on in the rest of the market. Now, we were having some issues with our data out here in the Western studio. Thanks, tip of the cap, to our buddy the Flowmaster doing a little bit of remote technical support for us here, getting us back up and running here on the show. So what would we do without our good buddy the Flowmaster? No Flowmaster this week on the show, listeners. No show on Thursday, so you got to wait until next Thursday for your taste of the Flowmaster. But you know what? In his absence, tell you what, let's fire up a little bit of the old Flowmaster's platform, and we'll crunch some numbers in his stead. What do you say? Let's go out first to the land of VIX. You know, it's a kind of sleepy start to the week, so you'd be forgiven for thinking VIX is doing a whole heck of a lot of nothing. $150, maybe 200,000 contracts on the tape right now. You would actually be wrong. VIX is actually putting up some numbers today. 399,000. Again, it's not a million, it's not 800K, but it's certainly respectable on this kind of sleepy start to what is apparently going to be a very sleepy week, listeners. Right now, 399, the big dog out there, 60,000 of the no 40s. Looks like maybe our synthetic, or at the very least the SEP 30, no 40 kind of roll action is going on, because we got SEP 30s going up 40,000 times to number 2, and then we got 15,000 of the AUG 16, so number 3. So maybe not the synthetic leg. I don't see the second part. Usually it's around the 17 strike. But action on the 30s in SEP and the 40s in November right now in a somewhat actually active day. In fact, looking at most of these indices, spoiler alert, they're all kind of hanging out close to where you would expect. SPY actually a little bit heavier. SPY 4.6 million right now. So not sure where all this paper is coming from. The ADV 7.14. Maybe everyone's getting it done now because they're going to be gone the rest of the week. Either way, S 1.65 million, so hanging out pretty close to where we expect it to be right now. Usually around 1.75 million this time of the show. A small cap 601,000. The ADV out there 1.2 million, so they're exactly halfway to their ADV. And the Qs right at close to 2.2 million, which is exactly where we expect them to be. The ADV 3.52. So apparently everything is right on the index front. Let's see if things are lighting it up out there in the single name action-packed front, shall we, listeners? And the answer is, it's respectable, I would say. Respectable, all things considered, out here on the single name front, listeners. We're kicking things off today. Cost you $229,000 to break into the top 10 today. Monday of a holiday week, I would have thought it would be $150, $160. So $229, not bad. We were back north of 300K not that long ago on the show, so we're not quite there. But I would say this week it is respectable. That gets us to our old pal Chewy. Is our buddy Roaring Kitty, is he doing something crazy out there again today? Apparently the answer is no. 26.20 right now. Off about $1 right now, nearly 4%. So kind of a gentle drift lower for Chewy, but not stopping it from hitting the top 10. Number 10 today, listeners. 229,000 contracts on the tape for Chewy. Number 9, where are we going here? We're going out to Palantir. Who stuck NVIDIA there? And NVIDIA doesn't belong there in my show notes, listeners. There we go. All right. Number 9, it is Palantir. We'll get to NVIDIA in a little bit. Bide your time, NVIDIA. We'll get to you. Palantir, number 9, 238,000 contracts, up about 44 cents, trading 25 3/4 today. So nice little pop for Palantir. They've been on a decent run of late. I haven't been scouring the headlines to see what's been driving them. Probably another deal in the offing. More buyers than sellers. Either way, number 9, 238,000 contracts for Palantir. Number 8, let's see, we got a Roaring Kitty duo here in our top 10 this week. The exchanges must love this guy. He's driving some flow right now. It's GameStop, 23 1/4, off about $1.40 right now, off about 6% on the day. Putting up 333,000 contracts today, though, so that is nothing to sneeze at out in GameStop land. And certainly for a sleepy holiday week, that is respectable. Number 7, we're going out to our old pal Marathon. Uncle Mike, cover your ears. We're going to crypto land. Marathon, number 7, 355,000 contracts on the tape there. 21.89, up $2 today, or a little over 10%. So popping hard out there in Marathon land, listeners. We've been talking this one for a while. It rallies up to nearly 30. It sells off back to around 15. Then it seems to bounce. Seems like it's in the bouncing phase right now. Up $2 today and taking the number 7 spot. Number 6, we're going out to shoes or sneakers, whatever you want to call them, kicks. Whatever the kids call them these days. It's Nike, 362,000 contracts. They came for Nike last week hard, listeners. It was, they said, their worst day, I think, in a couple of decades. It was trading close to $100, about $94 on Thursday, and then they just took it to the woodshed They're hanging out by the Rock Lobster now doing some light woodworking because it got nailed all the way down to 74 and a quarter. That is their 52-week low, I should say. They have rebounded slightly today. They're trading 76 and about a quarter, so they're about $2 off that low, up about nearly $1 today. So maybe some of the oversold crowd kicking in, or maybe just a bit of a dead cat bounce. Either way, Nike, 362,000 contracts. Are you trading Nike, listeners? Did that intrigue you? That massive sell-off out there, worst day in 20 years for Nike. Apparently nobody buying the pricey sneaks anymore out there, listeners. Number 4, out to the newest member of the Dow family. It is Amazon. Now, we were going to do a fun question of the week this week about Amazon versus Tesla. They were both trading 197 last week. And then Tesla had to go and explode and just ruin the whole thing this week, listeners. So we came up with something different. We'll get to that in a little bit. Right now, Amazon 197.60 up $4 today. Popping hard today, 2.25%. So apparently, folks liking themselves some of the Amazonians today. Number 5, 475,000 contracts. Number 4, keep it. Here's our A tech strip now, listeners. Enjoy it. Number 4, it's AMD, 487,000 contracts. Going the other way in AMD, off $6.13, nearly 4% today, trading 156 and change right now. Coming in at the number 4 spot, 487,000 contracts on the tape for AMD. And then the fruit company rounding out our A-Tech trifecta. And man, they like it again today. The Rock Lobster talking up a little bit of Apple. It did seem for a while there they were doing a lot of shell game behind the scenes with this stock buyback. And that is still, don't get me wrong, I think that is still the driving force of what we're seeing out there. But there could be some impetus for other things. Maybe the Rock Lobster's beloved robots on the offing here for Apple. Either way, nearly 217 right now, up about 6 1/3 or about 3%. So popping hard today, taking the number 3 spot, 1.06 million contracts on the tape. Number 2 going out to Tesla, 1.93 million contracts on the tape for Tesla. 209 1/3, up $11.50 today, nearly 6%. So just blowing the hell out of our poll, Amazon versus Tesla, listeners. Completely killing it. How dare they? Nearly 2 million contracts on the tape. That used to be handily enough for the number 1 spot. But now in this new post-NVIDIA split regime, the answer is no. It takes a lot more to topple the king out there, listeners. NVIDIA, 3.17 million. And you know what? That's pretty sleepy for NVIDIA these days. NVIDIA has been at certainly double that, 7 million change this time of day, easily in the past, not too long ago, topping out 10.5. I think it was 10.6 million recently. So 3 million is actually kind of a snooze fest for NVIDIA. 123 1/3, off about 20 cents today. So kind of treading water. If you like NVIDIA, stay tuned. I think you're going to like our question of the week, listeners. Let's see, what else we got on the docket here before we roll out of here, right? It's a light week on the earnings front, as you might expect. Not a lot of big names popping off on the 4th of July week, unless you really get excited about Radius Recycling and Simulations Plus. They're popping off today. We've got Constellation Brands on Wednesday, and that is literally about it. Luckily for you listeners, still hanging out 119% on the season. Our long-term average, 109%, listeners. That is, I think, a banger by any stretch of the imagination. Speaking of stretching, I have stretched long enough here for the opening segment. It is time for the Odd Block.
It's time to break down the most interesting, unusual, and downright questionable options activity that's been identified by theoptionsinsider.com. It's time for the Odd Block.
All right, listeners, welcome to the Odd Block. Let's see what we've got in store for us this week. Like we said, not all of our data firing on all cylinders out here in the Western studio, but we shall cobble together what we can find. How about this, listener? Let's go across the pond. Let's go out to the hallowed shores of Britain, very appropriate in this 4th of July week, to the lands of what was formerly known as GlaxoSmithKline. Now it's just, as the cool kids do, they're all acronymed up. GSK, PLC, you know them, British pharma out there, trading 38.45, off about a nickel today, so not a heck of a lot of action on the docket for them today. What have they been up to on the year? On the year, actually a pretty decent run. They're off their highs, but they're not at their lows either. A year ago, they were trading about 35.25, so they're up a little over $3, nearly 9% on the year. They did rally all the way up to about almost $46. That was back in May. So they have come off their highs a little bit out there. So looking decent, still up on the year, but off their highs out here for good old GSK. And let's see, what did our Eye of Sauron find out there and everyone's new hot favorite, GSK? Looks like we got a bit of a call-palooza, Mr. Rock Lobster, and a fun one. Let me regale you with the market that they gave this person. They came in, they said, how are these July 39? So listeners, we are trading right now in GSK 38 and about a half, kind of unched on the day right now. They said, how are these July 39s expiring this week on the 5th, on this Friday? They want a weekly swing at the fences, roll the dice out here. They came back to him, Mr. Rock Lobster. They said, not quite no bid. They weren't that bad. They were nickel bid at $2.35. That was their market on the July 5th, 39. So the at the money weekly call, Mr. Rock Lobster. They gave him a market of nickel bid at $2.35. I think if you and I could have kept making these markets, we probably would still be on the floor, Mr. Rock Lobster. But I digress. So they gave him a market of nickel bid at $2.35. They came in and said, okay, we'll trade them for 35 cents. So somewhere near the bid out there. That was a weird print all around. The stock was $38.91. I think they came back looks like about 10 minutes later. And with the stock about a dime higher, it was $39.02. They said, how are these now? And luckily, they actually gave them a sane market this time. They said they're 40 cents at 60. So they said, okay, we'll pay 60 cents for another 4,000. So a total of 8,000. So they scooped those early ones at 35 cents. That seems like a good do, as the kids might say in hindsight. That market was ridiculous. Those market makers deserve to get run over for that. And then now they're 40 cents bid out at 60. And they traded 60 cents. So they traded 4,000 for 35 cents and 4,000 for 60. Either way, Mr. Rock Lobster, looks like they're swinging for a little bit of the near-term weekly fences. They're expecting something to happen. Maybe they think because it is 4th of July, they think maybe GSK is going to rally in spite of us here in the colonies, celebrating their defeat. What do you think, sir? Bit of a call-palooza here and a weird one in GSK, sir.
You know, I just looking at the stock, it's down like, did anybody tell GlaxoSmithKline that this was 2024 and stocks only go up? I mean, it was 45, 80. It's down like $5, $6, $7. Don't they have a weight loss drug? So I'm, although I have to say, in the old days, we would have said there's a little room in that market.
It just
nickel bid at $2.60.
Just a nickel bid at $2.35. What do you want to do?
I can imagine some of those old Southside brokers, coming into the crowd. There's a little room in that market,
I don't think they would have been that polite in their response, sir. They would have been a little bit more heated, and rightfully so. That's an atrocious market.
Yes, they might have thrown epithets at us.
They might have cursed your lineage.
Scurvy dog. There
might have been some non-acceptable PC epithets thrown your way in this modern day and age. Yes, all sorts of fun would have happened.
Yes. They would have come fast and furious.
Might have been a fist or two behind that as well. You never know.
So I can see somebody buying some cheap calls on the run back. I don't think they were terrible. That's just the problem is now you can have all you want at 20 cents. So clearly the market has been right-sided to 15.20, all you want to do from the earlier price, which was, let's just call it considerably wider.
So are you down with buying some of these? I mean, 35 cents was cheaper. It still needs this stock to move quite a bit.
Yeah, it's like, 60, 35, and now 20. It has, I mean, and they're only a half a dollar out of the money, but again, this stock clearly is not selling Ozempic, so something is wrong. Oh, excuse me. Oh my gosh. So that's again, it's one of those things where how many calls do you want to buy that just keep losing value? So you could be like, I'm all in on Glaxo going up. The problem is that all the calls I'm buying are going down. So however you want to try to, parse that, but I think from a price point of view, they don't look unreasonable, but I'd like to see them actually have an uptick before I thought about buying them. So again, short-term call buying, there's a lot of hard games to play. Trying to beat Tosaw in trivia is one of them. Short-term call buying, second as a hard game. maybe only to try to play Tosaw in some sort of trivia game. I can't believe I signed up for it.
You signed up. You are a willing participant, sir. So bear that in mind as this unfolds. You're right. Buying near-dated calls, then the name that hasn't really popped that hard, that aggressively in that short of a time frame, that seems like maybe a bit of a bridge too far, but we shall see. We'll come back to these next week, see how our friend fared out here in the newly hip GSK listeners. Well, let's keep rolling. Like I said, not a lot going on out here this week. Not a lot of our data working out here anyway in the Western studio. So let's go back to pay off some names. A lot of folks we have a ton. Our docket is overflowing, listeners, with names we've been tracking. Let's go out here to Key Corp Inc., in particular, Key, ticker symbol KEY. You know them, kind of the parent company of Key Bank and a bunch of other Key branded financial services out there. Trading 14.31, up about a dime today. It's not a huge banger day for them. It has been a decently, might even say a banger year for them, though. They're up nearly 50%, about 4 3/4. They were trading south of $10 about a year ago, $9.50. They rallied hard. They got up to about nearly $16 back in May. They've given up about $1.50 of that upside now, but still up substantially, nearly $50, nearly 5 handles on the year. So a good run here for Key Corp. And keep that in mind, listeners. What we talked about with them back on the June 10th show was somebody coming in and maybe not exactly feeling a lot of that optimism out there in Key, listener. You talked about somebody coming in and scooping, easy for me to say, scooping 14,000 of the Key June 13th puts expiring last week on the 28th, listeners. And let's pull it up. Let's see if we can get exactly where this stock. There we go. Yeah. So 14,000 of these bad boys. They paid 20 cents. The stock was $13.60 at the time. So $13 wasn't outlandish. They only had to run 60 cents to the downside, so it wasn't too crazy. There were no earnings. The earnings were on July 18th. So this just seemed like somebody was a little bit concerned about some near-term downside out here in Key. Let's see. Over the last month, we did sell off to about $13.36, but that was about the low. That came back on the 14th. Other than that, we've pretty much been above that level. So we never really tested it. These puts were still open heading into expiration last week, and does not appear that they worked out. The stock was at $14.21 on expiration last Friday. So these puts, not exactly lighting the world on fire. Now, you can look at it two ways, obviously. If you're buying size puts, you probably have some stock, so maybe you're a happy camper at the end of the day. But you're probably not happy that you just dropped nearly over $250,000, actually, $280,000 on this little bit of a put skidoo out here. So maybe you have a sense where the stock sells off, you get to sell these puts for some money, monetize your hedge, and then the stock rallies. That's obviously the better outcome of the two. But hey, they made about $1 and change on their stock, so I guess they're willing to give up 20 cents of it. Mr. Rock Lobster, do you concur? It seems like somebody threw away some moolah on these Key puts, sir.
I think they saw some big stars in their eyes. I remember this one. I thought I don't know. I'm trying to I could have sworn we saw this and we were questioning why you were buying these puts. I could have sworn that's what this one was. It was not buying the puts in the financials somehow as they defy gravity. After what supposedly they have all these treasury bonds on their books, that are causing them troubles, but nobody seems to care at all. So I found that one curious. But that looks like somebody just got smoked.
Somebody got smoked indeed. Listeners, will we all collectively get smoked by Uncle Mike? Let's find out, because it is time for the strategy block.
It's time to dispense options, wit, wisdom, and education. It's time for the strategy block.
All right, everybody, welcome to the strategy block, the portion of the show where Uncle Mike holds court on some mystery options topic or technique or strategy. Uncle Mike, sir, what do you have in store for the folks this week?
Well, I want to talk about when you're getting to retirement and you have a bunch of stocks, but you don't want to take on all that risk anymore. But on the flip side, let's say you have a really low basis on the stocks. And so you don't want to pay the taxes either. Well, what can you do? Well, you have some choices. And I want to talk about that today on the strategy block. The first choice with which you have is you can just bite the bullet and sell the stocks. Perhaps taking the 15% long-term capital gain might not be a bad thing for you. You can get out of the stocks. You can put your money into something a little bit more conservative and give the government their tip for you gaining all that money in the stocks with which you bought. And what kind of inspired me to want to talk about this topic is that I have a lot of people that are approaching retirement that are in this situation. And so the other choice with which you have is you can hold on to the stocks, and the stocks can go up, the stocks can go down, whatever the case may be. The stocks go higher, well, that's a wonderful thing. You held on to them and you're extra exposed to stocks and you're making money. That's great. Now, there is another alternative as to what you can do for this. You can actually buy puts against the stocks with which you own. You can create some type of a hedging program. Now, I'm being very general today with what I'm talking about, but I do want to emphasize that this is a very real thing that I'm doing for very real clients right now. And the reason is that do I think you should just buy puts and have 100% stock exposure? No, I don't at all. But I think there is a place for this. Now, here's the next question that often comes up with this. What if I don't have 100 shares of all these stocks? I just have a wide variety of stocks. Some are over 100 shares, some are way over 100 shares. Some of them are under 100 shares, but what can I do? Do I buy puts on everything? Maybe. That's something you can consider. But what I would typically do is a little bit of a mix. In that, number one, I think you should sell some of your stocks most likely. Number two, I think you should just sit on some of your stocks. But number three, I do believe that hedged equity has a very real place in the retirement market these days. Now, how can you hedge it? Well, that's a topic for another day. And that other day actually will be on July 9th. I have a webinar coming up that will be going through this. But what I want to emphasize is the importance of is that you don't necessarily have to buy puts on the stocks. If you're willing to take on some type of what's known as idiosyncratic risk, meaning you're willing to buy puts on an index on, say, the S&P 500 or on the Dow or on the NASDAQ or whatever the case may be, based upon what stocks you own, then that can be a less expensive alternative to actually buying puts on the individual underlyings. Once again, I want to emphasize that I typically like a little bit of everything in the mix for retirement. But what I do think is important is that when you have hedged equity there, you use it in such a way to where you're trying to take money out during your retirement years at times that make the best sense for you within the market, as best as you can. You can't say, okay, I'm not going to buy groceries for the month of March because of the fact that the market's down. I don't want to sell at a low, but you need to have a plan in case something like that happens. So with that, I want to emphasize for the strategy block today, options can be a very big part of what you do within your retirement portfolio, and they can be very beneficial.
You know what else is beneficial, listeners, is a little bit of Around the Block.
It's time to tell you what we'll be watching on our trading screens until the next episode. It's time for Around the Block.
All right, everybody, welcome to Around the Block, the portion of the show where we do just that. We go around the block, see what everyone's keeping an eye on until our next episode. Going to be a little bit of a longer time horizon this time because obviously no episode on Thursday. Also, let's pay off really quickly some of our fun questions of the week we've been hitting on right now. Last week we asked you, hey, it's the start of summer, weather is hot, realize vol is low. Which option strategies do you anticipate using the most during this traditionally quiet period until Labor Day? Long calls, long puts and verticals, short calls, puts and verticals, so pretty much buying or selling premium. Calendars and diagonals, so a little bit more neutral type stuff, and the infamous other. And we went out last week, actually, 54.5% of you saying you're going to sell premium, which I kind of expected. The calendar is coming in 45.5%. And then weirdly, no votes for long premium or other, which is kind of weird to me. So I think maybe something got glitchy with Twitter on our poll there towards the end of the week, because I thought earlier in the week there were people voting for that. So weird one, kind of a weird one. Let's get out to a fun, silly one for the holiday week. We said, it's a holiday week. It's a short week. Let's have some fun. NVIDIA trading around 124 at the time we posted this poll. Obviously, this thing could move anywhere by the time you're listening to this, listeners. But when we posted this, we're at exactly at 124. We said with an expiration date of December 31st, so end of the year, what would you rather do? Would you rather buy an at-the-money put? Would you rather buy an at-the-money call? Or are you just out this week? You're just going to enjoy a fun holiday? And right now, listeners, it is a neck-and-neck battle. 36.8% of you each want to either buy that put or buy that call. You can't decide. And then 26.3% of you say you just want to enjoy a fun holiday. I'm with you. I'm out here in the Western studio. I want to have some fun this week as well. Oh, speaking of people traveling, our pro member, H. Del Aquarius, says, greetings from the UK and the land of aluminium. Yes, rolled aluminium in the land of the Brits. That's an interesting place to be. 4th of July, stick it to our British friends over there this week. We love our Brit friends, but, this week, got to tweak their noses a little bit. Say, hey, we whooped you folks back in the day, and that's what we're celebrating today. I apologize to all our British. We love you all out there. He says, I'd be buying the at-the-money call. I don't get in front of a freight train like NVIDIA. I certainly see that. We got Yakov. He's echoing the sentiments. I knew someone was going to ask this, and he says, why can't I sell both? You can do whatever you want, Yakov, but for the purposes of our poll, we're only buying premium here this week. So you got to choose one or the other, or maybe just go have a fun holiday. Let's go out now to the rockingest of lobsters. Mr. Rock Lobster, if you have a vote, are you buying an end-of-the-year put or call in NVIDIA? Or are you just getting the hell out of the way and enjoying a fun holiday? And B, while you're enjoying that holiday, and while you're off for pretty much the end of this week, the rest of this week, Mr. Rock Lobster, what are you keeping an eye on in the market, sir?
I have to say, I've got to go with the call, right? Trading 124 expiration. I would rather buy a call, and I think that's what the people would do. And then for the holiday, we're having a 4th of July festival here, so summer camp is open for a day, so people come and just summer camp it up, and then. And as far as the market goes, we got an on-farm payroll number on Friday. I don't see a lot of action, but we could. But I think it's more likely we're going to get more of this, what we have today.
All right, and Mr. Uncle Mike, same question for you. You'd rather buy that call, buy that putter NVIDIA, or just go enjoy your fun holiday? And then B, what are you keeping an eye on until you and I chat again a week from now, sir?
I want to enjoy my holiday because it is the 4th of July. It's a wonderful holiday, but I kind of also want to buy the call. I don't know what I want to do. I think I'd enjoy the holiday if I was long the call, but I don't know. I'm not going to actually do it, but I don't know. It's fun either way. In terms of what I'm watching till next Monday, Whatever hedges need to be put in place, they're in place. Whatever I need to do has been done. But come Wednesday, I'm not really watching much of anything. So not going to lie. If something does happen, I have alerts that'll tell me if something happened, but I'm watching fireworks. 4th of July. Enjoy the holidays, people. Get out. Get away from your screens. Do something different. And God bless America.
There you go. Good stuff there. Listeners, that is going to do it for us on the old OB today. Also going to do it for us on the live content for this week. Like we said, it is a truncated holiday week, and we're out here in the Western studio having some challenges with our data out here as well. So that's going to do it for us on the live front this week. Listeners, never fear though. You'll get more content coming your way on the on-demand side. Of course, you'll be getting OBC if you're not part of the pro. You'll be getting OBC. You already got it if you're on the pro side, but you're getting OBC on Wednesday. Of course, you'll be getting some other fun stuff on demand trickling out throughout the week, including a lot of more fun stuff from OIC, interviews, sessions, panels, all that fun. So stay tuned for that. We don't leave you hanging on a truncated holiday week, listeners. But that will do it for the live stuff. And as we go around the horn, Mr. Uncle Mike, sir, if folks want to check out that webinar, anything else you got cooking, where should they go? What should they do?
Oh, a couple places. Follow me on Twitter at Mike Tosaw, Tosaw. I try to put out a lot of content, including invitations to webinars. If you are a person who wants to have a conversation about working with me as a financial advisor, go to my website, stcharleswealth.com. Set up a call with me. I'm more than happy to talk about anything from markets to options to taxes to even presidential family trees.
He is tracking those presidential grandsons as we speak, listeners. Mr. Rock Lobster, same question for you. If folks want more Rock Lobster goodness in their lives, where should they go? What should they do?
Yes, optionpit.com, 888-TRADE-01. You heard this show, you get 10% off. Also, our Option Pit University, I'm posting new video every week. Like in a year from now, they'll have so much incredible content on it for people that actually want to learn how to trade options. It will freak you out. Subjects, so many option subjects you didn't even know existed are there. From basically, we got 40, we got about people. So traders at Option Pit, trading for about 50, 60 years, something like that. So a lot of practical option trading experience. So if you want to see how this stuff trades, see how this crazy volatility works, check out Option Pit University and get your learning on.
Get your learning on the ivy-covered halls of OPU, as the kids call it. And also while you're checking stuff out, it's a truncated holiday week. Good time to maybe kick the tires on a new broker, see what they have on the offing front, maybe on their platform, see what they have that you like, maybe give them some feedback on what you'd like to see them add to their platform. Kick the tires on that rebate as well. Public.com, the place to go to kick the tires and light the fires. Tell them we sent you. They'll be very happy to hear that. A lot of fun stuff going on over there. Public.com, the place to go to learn more. That is going to do it for us on the old OB today. Also going to do it for us on the live side for the network. Get out there, as Uncle Mike said. Enjoy yourself. Get away from your screens. Obviously, truncated sessions, middle of the week. No session on Thursday. And we're not monsters. Not making the OP guys and everybody else come in on their days off on Friday. So no live shows on Friday. Get out there. Have some fun. Enjoy some hot dogs. Wave an American flag at a British friend if you have one. And then we'll see you back here live again. Same bad time, same bad channel next week. Another episode of the Option Block. Stay safe out there, everybody.
Most options trading platforms are commission-free, and there are some that don't charge per-contract fees. Public.com goes a step further. When you trade options on Public, there are no commissions, no per-contract fees, and you get a rebate of up to 18 cents per contract traded. That means it costs less than $0 per transaction. In other words, instead of paying to place options trades, you literally earn money, and that money can add up fast. If you trade 1,000 option contracts on Public, you'll earn up to $180 in rebates. 10,000 contracts? Up to almost $1,200. It's pretty obvious why NerdWallet recently gave options trading on Public 5 out of 5 stars. Because Public really stands out for the cost of its options trades. Their words, not ours. If you want to start paying less than $0 to trade options, check out public.com and get a rebate of up to 18 cents per contract traded. Paid for by Public Investing. Options not suitable for all investors and carry significant risk. Full disclosures in podcast description. U.S. members only. You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com.